Fallout 4 is a game which has a sensational main questline. It's filled with cool factions to join and difficult choices to make, and every decision seems to have a variety of pros and cons, and the potential to leave the wasteland with different winners and different losers. Fallout 4 definitely has some flaws though, like the lack of role-playing potential, partly due to the fact that a voiced protagonist was used. However, one big thing that almost everyone wondered was, where are all the side quests? Fallout 4 has some awesome side quests, but the main problem was that A, a lot of them weren't that memorable, so people forgot about them, and B, there actually wasn't a lot of them in general when compared to other Bethesda Game Studios games. That all said, there were many side quests which were exciting, and in this video I'm going to be taking you through FudgeMuppet's top 5. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Michael and welcome to FudgeMuppet. These top 5 side quests are ones that really left us wanting more, and we're going to be rating them very personally, specifically on how much we enjoyed the quest in our first playthroughs. We chose this rating system because some of the side quests get boring fast when you play them multiple times, but that's obviously because you know exactly how it plays out. But in a first playthrough, every new outcome is a surprise, and you get really pumped to discover what's going to happen next. Another thing to note is that we're not including companion development quests, as in the personal quests you unlock while you're spending time with a companion, and obviously we're not including main story quests. Also, we didn't exclude DLC side quests on purpose, the cards just happened to fall that way. Spoilers warning, of course. Drilling our way into spot number 5, we find ourselves getting tied up deep in the criminal underworld, though we did voluntarily take a job from a very dodgy ghoul who told us it required discretion, so we really shouldn't be too surprised. The side quest is known as the Big Dig, and you'll notice I said we end up deep in the criminal underworld for a reason. You see, in this quest, we literally end up being under the world, digging through underground passageways with a group of opportunistic thieves. There's even an iBot helper who has been modified to emit pulses of frequencies that can easily blast through sediment. It's the perfect opportunity to have a freeze frame with that cliche vinyl scratch and the sole survivor's voice saying, "Yep, this is me." You're probably wondering how I got here. Well, the answer to that question is we accepted a job from a dodgy ghoul named Bobby No-Nose as she spoke to us through the slit in a metal door in the back streets of Goodneighbor. We go down into the building she's in and she explains she's doing some digging. You're sent to help 2 other diggers, but Mirelurks erupt from the depths and kill them. You survive and Bobby is impressed, making you her latest gun for hire. She says there's another guy she'll need for the job and sends you to Diamond City to show you what she's planning on getting her hands on. You meet over Noodles, and with her face hidden by a mask, she reveals that there's a strong room beneath the mayor's office, and you're going to steal together and share in the spoils. First, you need to help her rescue her tech guy though, named Mel, who is currently jailed in Diamond City. After rescuing him through one of many methods, you meet back with the gang and an iBot at the digging location in Goodneighbor. You then proceed to, in Mel's words, move through the earth like a mole rat on jet. As you travel underground, blowing apart walls, ghouls, and Mirelurks, Mel begins to think you've gone way too far south and that the group is nowhere near Diamond City. Eventually, the iBot blows up the final barrier between you and the so-called strong room, and you quickly find yourself in a heated exchange between Mel, Bobby, and one of Hancock's guards, appropriately named Fahrenheit. It's appropriate because she has a minigun named Ashmaker, which truly turns up the heat, igniting targets upon bullet impact. In reality, you're in Hancock's warehouse, and Bobby knew this was the plan all along. You can convince her to leave and receive the Ashmaker as a reward, or you can fight alongside Bobby to defeat Fahrenheit, getting paid by Bobby and also looting the incendiary minigun from the battlefield. All in all, it's a really fun quest with a consistently escalating story. It didn't end up how you expected. You get a minigun which spits fire, and it provides something rare in Fallout 4, the opportunity to really feel like the bad guy. But now for a side quest which is much simpler, one that many people may overlook when they think back on the best side quests in the game. This adventure is known as Curtain Call, and it's one of my most memorable and enjoyable experiences in all of Fallout 4, particularly so from my first playthrough, which is what we're basing our ranking system on. As you're walking around the wasteland, you notice a particularly tall building, apparently the tallest building in Boston, known as Trinity Tower. As you approach it, you receive a radio signal from a gentlemanly fellow named Rex.
Help, or Mayday, or whatever it is one says on a radio. My name is Rex Goodman. I'm being held prisoner on the top of Trinity Tower. I think the super mutants plan on eating me soon. I'm setting this to repeat. Oh shit! Gotta sign off. One of the super mutants is coming!
And so begins one of the most epic combat quests there is. The quest involves you blasting your way up a tower, killing super mutants and hounds non-stop, while the leader of the mutants yells intimidating threats at you over the intercom. Not only is the quest exciting due to the crazy verticality of Trinity Tower, but for many Fallout 4 players, this was their first main run-in with super mutants, so it's all the more menacing. As we fight our way through the carnage and head up multiple elevators, ramps, and staircases, clearing out the greenskins as we go, we eventually reach the very top of this metal behemoth structure. It is here where we come face to face with the voice from the intercom, a hulking super mutant boss named Fist. He begins his assault by unleashing a fully loaded minigun. Now, after defeating Fist and quickly taking in the view, we can head over to the caged cell that Rex Goodman has been trapped in. There's more mutants coming, so we've got to escape fast. Weirdly, Rex is actually with a non-hostile mutant named Strong, who has been captivated by Rex's teachings of Shakespeare. Apparently, Rex thought he could civilize the mutants, and while Strong is interested, it didn't go down so well with the others. Strong hurries you over to a construction elevator, and the epicness continues. Mutants at various levels of the building shoot at you, and grenades fly through the air. Perhaps some will even be thrown by you. Personally, I find this part most fun with an automatic weapon and frag grenades, so you can churn through bullets while explosions echo throughout the building as you do your best to escape. Strong is particularly interested in Macbeth, and on the way down, Rex tells you that Strong thinks that the milk of human kindness is the secret to human power. After completing the quest, you'll get a reward from Rex and the option to have Strong continue to journey with you. But with that quest explored, let's climb aboard the next quest, which also takes us to the top of a tall building by the end of it. Without a doubt, one of the most memorable quests for me in Fallout 4, even taking main quests into account, is the side quest called Last Voyage of the USS Constitution. You come across a big old school ship in the middle of the wasteland, which appears to have jet thrusters on the back and is currently sitting on top of a bank. How the hell did it get here, you wonder? It's all very wacky and mysterious, and before you know it, you're being greeted by a Mr. Handy robot who scans you and tells you you've been conscripted into the Congressional Army. You better go speak to the captain. So up you go into the ship, and soon it's no secret that all the crew members are in fact talking robots. Captain Ironsides runs the show, and you can find him on the main deck of the ship. He just so happens to be a giant sentry bot in a lieutenant hat. I can still remember my first time playing this quest. It was just so different from anything I ever expected to encounter, and these expectations are demolished even more by the end of the quest. But what does the quest itself involve? Well, funnily enough, it's not overly complicated, and the plot isn't all that fascinating. It truly is discovering the quest itself and finishing it, siding with the robots, which truly makes it so great. What happens in between is simply you carrying out some tasks and fetch quests for the robots, involving repairing their ship and acquiring parts for it, one of which you'll need to steal from scavengers who you could also side with. The quest also involves you defending the ship from these scavengers multiple times. It's a very fun setup, and choosing to activate the ship's cannons against these wasteland invaders was pretty dope. With all the threats dealt with and the ship primed and ready to go, siding with the robots of course, Captain Ironsides gives you a unique heavy gun known as Broadsider, a portable naval cannon. You then leave the ship to fire up the auxiliary power for launch. Now, during my first playthrough, I really just thought the ship would blow up, but I was super impressed when it actually took off, flying far into the skies, but eventually crashing into a tower. The ship gets stuck here, and you can actually go visit it, earning a lieutenant's hat and gaining access to the captain's quarters. Captain Ironsides is here all in one piece. The view up there is awesome, and I can remember during my first playthrough, I made a video on this straight away. You can still go and find it posted on November 15th, 2015. I believe I would have been one of the first people in the world to also try jumping on the ship, finding out that you tend to die on impact after a long lagging period when you collide with the tower. Anyways, I had so much fun with this quest, it just had to be on the list. I'd definitely rank it higher if the plotline of the quest was deeper, but there's not much more you can really ask for here. Next, we've got a side quest which says, I heard you like role-playing, so we put role-playing in your role-playing so you can roleplay while you roleplay. So appropriately, taking out the silver, we've got the Silver Shroud quest. This one's a seriously fun adventure, and it really ends up way more intense than you'd expect. First, you get a radio broadcast from a ghoul named Kent, who runs a Silver Shroud radio station, loving his escape from reality in this harsh world. Kent runs the station from the Memory Den in Good Neighbor, and when you meet him, he asks you to retrieve the Silver Shroud costume from Hubris Comics. He's absolutely obsessed with the Silver Shroud, but Hubris Comics is filled with ghouls, so he needs someone with some more combat experience to go retrieve it. That means you. After fighting your way through many floors of ghouls and finally getting the outfit, as well as the silver submachine gun prop, you take it all back to Kent. He's very happy with what you've brought him, but this goes deeper than and fan love for the Silver Shroud franchise. You see, Kent thinks that the Shroud needs to be brought to life, to become a beacon of righteousness in the wasteland, to clean up the criminal scum who have been left unpunished for too long. He thinks you would be perfect for the role, and so you accept, donning the Silver Shroud costume and a real silver submachine gun. He even gives you Silver Shroud calling cards to leave on criminal bodies after justice has been delivered. You then roam around Goodneighbor listening to Kent's Silver Shroud radio station, where he gives you, or should I say the Silver Shroud, criminal targets to take down. It's all a very funny experience, as each conversation you have with criminals allows you to speak in character as the Silver Shroud. It may be a little corny, but in my opinion, it's the best way to enjoy the quest. Put it this way, when your life is on the line and the threats are very real, you'll still take it seriously, even if you are basically LARPing. You end up taking out a murderer behind Hotel Rexford and a drug dealer who sells to children, but then things get taken up a notch again. The Silver Shroud is tasked with taking out an assassin named Kendra, who's hiding out at Water Street Apartments. She's killed many people before and tells you you're in way over your head. You tell her,
"You have taken your last life, villain."
and that's that. You leave the calling card and go back to Goodneighbor, hearing a broadcast that says Hancock wants to meet the Silver Shroud. Hancock explains that there's much larger criminal forces at work here, and that everyone you've taken out so far works for the same guy, Sinjin. But to find him, you'll need to take out 2 of Sinjin's higher tier cronies. And so, as the Silver Shroud, you track down and destroy a criminal by the name of Smiling Kate and one called Northy. There's a holotape on the corpse of whoever is killed last, and it tells you that good old Kent Connolly has been targeted. You rush back to the memory den, but you're too late. He's been kidnapped by armed raiders. On the radio, you hear that Kent has been taken to Milton General Hospital and is being held hostage there. Before you know it, Sinjin has a gun to the back of Kent's head, and you're in a classic hostage shootout predicament. Now, it's really easy for Kent to be killed here, so you'll want to play your cards right. Stealth is risky, but it can work, as can using pure brute force and charging Sinjin before he can kill Kent. Alternatively, you can use your words, sticking with the Silver Shroud dialogue options 3 times in a row, and then killing Sinjin before he finishes his own dialogue. This causes all the other raiders there to run away and be pacified. Alternatively, if you have high charisma, you can use a persuasion check to make Sinjin target the Silver Shroud instead of Kent. Now, here's something pretty psycho you may not know about. If you're a real monster, you can actually just shoot Kent straight in the head, taking away Sinjin's hostage advantage. This leads to unique dialogue where Sinjin panics, and you can use special intimidation Shroud dialogue to turn his gang to your side. Whatever option you take, hopefully Kent lives, and you can persuade him to continue working for the Silver Shroud. Talking to Kent back in Goodneighbor actually leads him to give you more jobs, allowing you to get better versions of the Shroud costume. I've talked about this quest for quite a while now, but you can see why. It's extremely memorable, there's a high stakes ending which can go multiple ways, and you get to roleplay as a legitimate superhero. And finally, in the number 1 spot, we're going absolutely insane with a quest involving immortality, mental asylums, alien artifacts, and mysterious serums. Taking out the gold, we have The Secret of Cabot House, a side quest in which we reach the climax point that the 2 precursor quests, Special Delivery and Imogene Takes a Lover, have built us up to. It all started when we were approached by a ghoul mercenary looking fellow named Edward, who told us he had dangerous work for us. We were to meet him at Cabot House, and as we walk into its extremely fancy and clean pre-war interior, we're greeted by a man named Jack Cabot and a question he has for everyone who he ever employs. Do you believe there is other intelligent life in the universe? He then rambles on about human precursor cultures and then is cut off by Edward, who just wants to let you know what job you have. You simply have to go and collect a shipment which has gone missing near a facility Jack owns. It's an insane asylum, but Edward assures us it's just a secure building that they're using, nothing weird about it. The package is a metal case holding vials of serum, but we're told we don't need to know what it is, it's just for Jack's research. Now, if you do go and ask Jack about his theories on alien civilization, he'll tell you that his father once traveled to a lost alien city, and that it was clear to him it was not made for or by humans. He believes it was established millennia before the first human civilizations, and that those who built it had technology far more superior than our own. Anyways, we soon discover the package has gone missing because the courier holding it has been killed by raiders who ran off to a nearby creamery, and after we kill them, there's only 1 vial of serum on one of the corpses. It removes 35,000 rads and gives you 50 damage resistance and plus 5 strength. Seriously potent stuff, but what is it? Well, after we return to Cabot House and get our reward, we find out that Jack Cabot's sister, Imogene, has gone missing. This separate side quest part isn't as exciting, but it's funny and it leads us to the right place. Turns out she was seduced by a con artist who goes by the name of Brother Thomas, who claims he can give you a much happier life so long as you give him everything you own. Anyways, he's got Imogene locked up, and after you save her, you quickly realize something very strange. She's got grey hair, but she's meant to be Jack's younger sister. If you inquire about this, she can tell you that she'll be back to normal as soon as she gets her hands on some of Jack's serum. Arriving back at Cabot House after completing this, Jack is talking to Edward over the radio, and it becomes clear that the raiders are attacking the insane asylum. Jack tells Edward that it's of great importance that the raiders do not reach Lorenzo. How strange. Asking for more information, it's finally revealed that Jack and his family are hundreds of years old. We can also find out that this serum is synthesized from his father, Lorenzo's blood. We fight through the insane asylum and end up seeing where Lorenzo is kept captive. He's wearing some kind of ancient alien tech crown, and this gives him telekinetic superpowers and immortality. He found the crown long ago when he went on an excavation in Arabia, but when he returned to Boston with it, he went on a crime spree. He would have been killed if Jack Cabot had not used their family influence to convince the government to have him locked up in this very asylum instead. Lorenzo has used telekinetic powers to bring the raiders here, and these raiders have actually consumed his serum from the shipment they took. He wants them to free him and promises them more of this powerful serum. With the field that originally helped to contain Lorenzo gone down, you kill the raiders around his room and see yourself faced with a choice. You see, this field, called an Abremelin field, cannot be restored, and it won't be long until Lorenzo gets set free. Jack says the only option is to kill Lorenzo. You can activate failsafes around the room that have been placed in Abremelin generators in order to kill Lorenzo via Zeta radiation, or you can free Lorenzo. If you kill him, Jack is sad but very relieved and wants you to visit him in a week. When you do, he's figured out how to use the telekinesis power of the artifact to create Lorenzo's artifact gun, a unique gamma gun mod that fires telekinetic based blasts, knocking enemies back and stunning them greatly. More interestingly, if you free Lorenzo, he'll go back to Cabot House to murder his entire family with his powers, talk to you more about his alien artifact, and grants you vials of mysterious serum forever. However, you can only have one vial at a time and can only get more when you use your one vial. You also can't sell it. You can see why we've rated this side quest number 1, although yes, it does technically involve a chain of side quests to set it up. The mysterious nature of this quest, the vibes of Cabot House, the fascinating characters, and the brief glimpse into ancient alien technology all make this quest so sensational. The rewards are pretty dope too, and it was just surprise after surprise. Thank you guys so much for tuning into FudgeMuppet's top 5 side quests in all of Fallout 4. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed playing these quests, and if you did, I'd really appreciate if you gave the video a like, only if you think it deserves one though. Social media links are in the description below for those interested, and if you want more Fallout 4 in your life, be sure to subscribe and tell us what you want next. My name's Michael, thanks again for supporting the channel, and I look forward to nerding out with you again very soon.